Okay, here we go. This is it, guys. This is the end, the finale. Are you excited? I am. I have no idea what to expect, but here we go. Thanks for waiting, everyone. Sorry you had to spend your weekend without an update, but I was busy getting housework done and my fingers were fried from the work and typing up this juicy story. I'll also respond to all the lovely comments and messages I've been getting once this is posted. You guys are really awesome. We left off with me kicking Christian out, taking him to the airport, and me enjoying the silent ride home. It was late, but I was thinking to myself about how I could bring up that I no longer wanted to be a part of Christian's life. 1, he threatened self-harm when I considered breaking off a relationship in person. 2, he was a gaslighting mastermind, and even with me staying mentally ahead of him, I feared getting trapped into his sticky incel trap once again. So I gave it a bit. I talked to him for about a week. Things got annoying. Christian knew the breakup was heavy on my mind, and I confessed to him many times that he, nor the relationship, made me happy. So whenever we had text conversations that went well, he would always end it with comments like these. I think we're doing better. We've been working on ourselves and our communication has improved. You seem happier and I feel happier, don't you agree? We've had so many good days in a row, we seem to be on the upward swing in our relationship. It was cringy, annoying, and most of all, it was suffocating. He refused to acknowledge the elephant in the room, and my answers were dwindling and turning shorter. I started just running into places. I live in the PNW, so there's a lot of places you can go that are secluded, away from people, and those places became my refuge. God knows I needed the exercise, but I was also literally running away from my problems. As nice as it was, that was not the solution to this. Hell, I even told Christian one day that I wanted an open relationship. Anyone that knows me knows I'm monogamous as hell. Nothing against poly people, but it's a hard no lifestyle for me. The fact that I was considering doing something that was extremely uncomfortable for me was driving me mad. I was considering it just to get away from him, to have any kind of normal relationship with a healthier partner, and possibly better looking. I tried, guys. Over and over, I tried to break up with this man, but any time I told him we needed to video chat or have a serious conversation, he would bail, feign illness, or just get quiet for the rest of the day. What's worse is that he'd tell me how great we're doing and how he was so happy. This went on for 3 weeks, until I had had enough. I waited until I was at work on a slow day and just let it out to Christian via text that I'm done. I know him acting nice was all a facade until I felt comfortable again. I didn't love him. I lost love for him the first time he showed up at my house months ago, and I was ready to move on. I needed to explain the emotional toll Christian's behavior had on me. I'm not a social person, but I'm friendly, and I have an undying amount of empathy to give. I will drop everything I'm doing to help the ones I care about. I just figure it takes $0 to level with someone and try to understand their experiences. But by this point, I had no empathy left to give. I was a shell of a person with no positive emotions. I had never had a hard time listening to someone vent, but I couldn't listen to my friends and family grieve anymore. My soul was completely sucked, and I did not have the emotional energy. Christian was an emotional leech. He said earlier on that I had a lot of empathy, and I believe that is something he craves. As venomous as this guy was, he was also weak and needed sympathy and empathy constantly. I don't know what it was, but it was like those emotions were his life force. He was a literal psychic vampire. He became stronger by wearing others down. Yeah, he's a manipulator. He's like a sociopath. That kind of thing definitely does help that. He's also a fucking asshole. I'm sorry, I just really had to put that in there right there. He didn't act surprised. He just said he knew it was coming and was just trying to stop it. I told him that was extremely unfair and he was essentially holding me hostage. He said that he was afraid I was just going to ghost him. I told him that that thought had crossed my mind many times, but for the sake of my own closure, I needed to at least tell him over text because he made it apparent that he would not let me dump him in real life. He tried playing the victim card, and I told him that that no longer works and has run its course. He was a 35-year-old man. I reminded him of that. He told me that we can remain friends. I needed some time to myself, and that maybe later we could reconsider dating. That was a straight-up lie. But if I didn't say something to give the little man hope, he'd never leave me alone. And somehow, that worked. But not without consequences. First, he asked if we could just be sexual partners. I said no. He then decided to pull a power move. I have a friend who I talk about just daily. I have for the past 7-ish years. We'll call him Brent. We bonded over anime and manga on Instagram back in 2013. We hit it off. It's important that I mention Brent lived in the South at the time, and he's also gay. Christian knows Brent and I are close. He always seemed threatened by that aspect. Plus, Brent also finished high school and finished university with a degree. Christian envied, with amazing grades to boot. Brent is also younger than Christian, obviously smarter, and is achieving his dream. To top it off, he was besties with me. Gay or not, Christian had a laser pointed at this man. Christian, I don't know how to describe it. He accused me of telling people I was actually dating Brent so I can phase him out of my life. I asked him how on earth did he come to that conclusion. Brent, again, is gay. Christian acknowledged that, but still accused us of being in a relationship somehow because Facebook told him? What? I was confused. Did I post that by mistake? I checked and no. I had my relationship set to single. Changed it back when Christian and I were dating. Sue me. So I was stumped and asked how he got that idea. He said because Brent and I were joking on our Facebook feeds and sending memes, so that must have been it. I tapped out at this point. I'd had enough. I basically just told him goodbye. I'd check on him later. I'm tired. Everything was beginning to become a blur, and I just had to go. I know this isn't the exciting ending you're looking for, so we're not done. About a week or two after cooling off, Christian wanted to Skype with me and say his piece. I figured, okay, whatever. If it gets bad, I'll just end the call. So I agreed. We talk. He's generally upset, but he has this sad, hopeful look in his eye. I can't describe it. He then proceeds to tell me basically about how he was actually the hero of my life. What? And that I'll never find someone as good as him. Oh no! Not in those exact words, and he wasn't talking down to me, but he listed all the things he could have done for me. Oh, okay. Help me with my mental illness, find a better job, more friends. He even mentioned that he was thinking of contacting Tim, my brother, so they could hatch a plan to help me out. Tim knows I have depression. Tim knows me better than my mom. He's my older brother. Besides his wife, they know me better than anyone on the damn planet. They took care of me after my dad died and have always remained close. To the point that we made sure that we lived in the same state, as close to one another as possible. I kind of laughed at that, honestly. Christian was afraid of Tim. The mention of him made him pee his pants. Christian was offended by my laugh, and I shortly ended the call. It didn't go according to his plan. The icing on the cake is, several months later, he messaged me asking me if I'd be fine with having an exclusively sexual relationship with him. Again. No strings attached. I remained silent. Just, what the fuck? He proceeded to tell me in a long-winded wall of text as to why it would be okay and I could just move on from him. That was a hard no. The conversations dwindled after that, but something critical happened in his life. A good thing, and I congratulated him on it. It was also around the time that my grandmother was very ill. She was suffering from kidney failure at 92. And I hadn't seen her in a long time, so I was taking time off from work to go see her in Florida. It's taken me a while to come to terms with this, but the day I was leaving to go see her, my mom called me at work and said that she had passed. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh my god. My mom, being the saint of a woman that she is, held her own mother as she died, telling her everything was going to be okay. I broke down at work and managed to drive home later that day. I knew that if I just went home, I'd do nothing but sleep, so I kept my mind busy at work for as long as I could until I couldn't deal anymore. That evening, I told Christian everything. My grandmother passed away, and I was leaving, my mom's side of the story, and what needed to happen next. I told him how upset I was. I should have known better. All he had to say was, "Well, you're generally upset. This isn't a big deal." I'm about to strangle this motherfucker. I'm about to strangle this motherfucker. No. Fuck this dude. Fuck him. Fuck this guy. I am glad this pathetic, underwhelming excuse of a man was not in my line of sight. I would have gone to prison for murder. You and me both. So instead, I ripped this worm a brand new aching asshole with my words. I tore him the fuck apart. Things I have never said to a person before and never will again. His response? "Oh, you're right, I apologize." Fuck you, dude. That was it for me. I never contacted him again. He did message a few times on several platforms, but I left him on red. He asked me if I was dating, asked about my mental health, tried to pry into my life, didn't budge. I'm done. So that's it. Christian Grey was phased out of my life. I had a hard time communicating with people after that. I was on the defensive. I couldn't tell if someone was lying to me or telling the truth, or something in between. Everything someone said was an attack, and I just kind of kept to myself for months after that. I got back into the dating field pretty quick, though, and just started talking to somewhat normal guys was really helpful. I met up with a handful. Unfortunately, one ended up in a sexual assault. Jesus, fuck, are you alright? That's horrible. That was a major setback. Yeah, I guess that's one way to describe it. But a bit after that, 7 months after kicking Christian to the curb, I met this great guy and we started dating. We're happy together, making plans to move in with each other, and just every day with him is awesome. It's unreal. That's fantastic news. There are some bits of info I would like to add. It was too much to put in the actual story, so here's a list of things I could not add. Christian lied to me about his age. He was actually 3-ish years older than me, so he told me 38. I just turned 25. I could have figured that out with a simple Google search, but with what he put me through, his age was the least of my concerns. Still gross. I made contact with Christian's ex-wife. She's honestly the sweetest woman. She said he was cruel to her and her daughter, but not to the extent he was to me. He constantly threatened to hurt himself whenever she called him out, so she was trapped in her 20s with a child and Christian hanging suicide note over her head. She couldn't take it anymore and eventually left. Good for her. I'm glad she got out of that shit. Speaking of that, Christian told me that his wife cheated on him. Untrue. I don't want to give too much away without his ex-wife's permission, but Christian had a penchant for attempting to cheat himself. The keyword is attempting. Classy. He tried to force me to wear these stupid Lolita collars. My weeb friends, you know what I mean. But he wanted to, quote, own me, unquote, and actually spent a pretty penny on some of these things. I didn't wear them. It was cringe and stupid. Good. This guy's a fucking asshole. He didn't like it when I didn't wear makeup. He would beg me not to take it off, or to put it on during the day. He has a fetish for it. Big shock. Yet he hated false lashes. He didn't realize I wore them every day. Dumbass doesn't even know what he wants. He claimed he could play with a woman's, genitalia all day. I didn't let him go near mine, but from what I heard from him and what he attempted to try, he had no idea what he was doing. Are we surprised? He would freak out when I didn't shave. There's a 3-day period where I didn't shave when I was ill, and he said that he'd pay for me to go get a wax. I told him if I wasn't going to shave in my own shower, I wasn't going to pay someone else to do it when I'm under the weather. He pouted for a few hours after that. What a fucking creep. He threw a tantrum when I was looking at a car to buy. I was in need of a new one, and he just flew off the handle, slamming my doors, throwing my stuff around. I asked him what the hell his deal was, and he said car buyers are stupid. They don't know what they're doing, yelling at the top of his lungs and pacing the room. I put two and two together and realized he hated the fact that I was so independent. Struggling as I was, I didn't consult his help. I know cars some, I know about pricing, and if I needed, my family would help me financially. No questions asked. He hated that. What a fucking child. I didn't find out until a bit in, but he kept tabs on his quote-unquote kink list. He legit had a list on his phone, and he asked me if I was interested in any of them. I could see him marking check marks to some or leaving it blank. I was fucking horrified. That is 10 kinds of fucking creepy. He told me I meant nothing to my employer. I worked hard where I was, and management made it clear that they appreciated me. I was worried about something, and I asked him about it, and he proceeded to tell me that it was just a fly at the bottom of the totem pole. I was replaceable, and they would forget me, and that I don't matter. I loved that job, and I busted my ass for it, so that really hurt, and I will admit I cried in the car on the way home. I confronted him about it, but I was met with another, beat it that way, charade. This man is like a fucking child, I swear. He asked a nurse at a hospital out on the job. It must have been more than that, because she reported him to hospital staff and he was no longer allowed to go near her. Whoa! It wasn't a full-on restraining order, but he was barred from going near her or having contact with her at the facility. Who the fuck asked a nurse out at work? 1, they are busy helping people, not getting patients' phone numbers. 2, I imagine that it was some form of HIPAA violation, especially if he's a patient at the hospital. This woman isn't going to risk her career over a fucking incel. Yeah. I was able to put it all together. I found out he's still active on Reddit. It makes sense now, the way he treated me, the way he wanted me to dress, wanting to take me to super expensive diners that I denied. He had a thing for abusing strippers and escorts. He's never been in the presence of either, but I've read his roleplay stories, and they all geared towards abusing women in that line of work. Sexual, physical, and mental abuse, as well as, wait for it, underage father-daughter incest. I'm trying not to scream. I'm trying. It's getting really fucking hard. Fucking foul beast this guy is. Thank you for everyone for tuning into the shit show that was my life for 6 months. I appreciate all of you. Steer clear of the neckbeards and incels for me, please. Edit. I added in some details. Also, some of you wanted a more in-depth physical description of Christian, so here it is. He's a short little man, like 5'6" or so, sickly thin, like legs the size of my arms. Not trying to body shame, but damn, he was skinny as fuck. I thought he would break at any given moment. He said that being that thin was normal for him, so I guess it wasn't from medical procedures. Doesn't dress bad, but not good. Complete lack of skincare. Some pimples, and he made it clear to me that guys who care for their skin or use beard creams are gay. Classy. So his skin was no good. Dry, cracked, and just ugh. Thin red hair, facial hair, cold, dead blue eyes. Seriously, if anything scared me on this man, it was the way he looked at people. Like everyone was just the scum of the earth. He had the gaze of a zombie. So yeah, he was underwhelming in every sense of the word, but somehow he wanted women to fall at his feet. Second edit. I firmly believe this man suffers from delusions of grandeur. He told me that in 4th grade he was proven to be past 12th grade in knowledge. For any non-American readers, that's roughly 9 years old, and he claimed that at 14 he was gun running. Transporting guns illegally to people, as well as using and transporting illegal drugs. He dropped out of high school since it was boring. I asked him if that was the case, and if he was that intelligent, why didn't he just attend another school for the intelligent? And his excuse was that he wanted to do other things. I don't know about y'all, but I ain't buying it. Holy fuck. This guy is like He's as if you somehow condensed an entire Neckbeard subreddit into one human being. Like, I can't even imagine what horrific shit you have to put up with when it comes to this dude. Like, just, we know some. I mean, we know some because this very detailed story, but what a fucking tool. He's not just a tool, he's a tool bag. No, more than that, he's the whole fucking tool shed. This guy is the fucking worst. He is absolutely a complete and utter shitlord in every fucking sense of the term. I mean, I could come up with more creative insults, but we already know that he's only packing a 3-inch Tic Tac, so that ain't really gonna help him that much in his whole I'm a dom and women should fall at my feet field. Yeah, okay. Good luck, buddy. I'm sure it'll totally fucking work out for you. Christ almighty. There's no way I could even fucking take someone like this seriously. He's just the worst of the fucking worst. Manipulative, full of himself, just 10 kinds of a fucking asshole. I can't express how sorry I am that OP had to deal with this fucking dude, but holy shit, man. I am so glad that this guy is out of your life, and I am so glad that you're moving on to, like, better things and good relationships and everything. You deserve that and 10 times more. As for Christian, the prolific incel dom, yeah, you can fuck right off, dipshit. Nobody fucking believes your nonsense. Oh, you were too smart to get these things. Yeah, that's totally how it fucking works, isn't it? That's totally how it fucking works? Yeah, okay. Whatever you say, buddy. Anyway, thank you all for joining me on this wonderful journey of I have no idea what the fuck. This was a hell of a story, and just wow. Just wow, dude. If you enjoyed this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and, you know, if you want to send in your own story, I forgot my own fucking outro because of this, you can send it to r/Moonhorse Stories. I check it every day. I have a merch store if you'd like to keep the lights on in this place. It's all in the description box below this video. I love you all so very, very much, and I'll see you in the next episode, everybody. Goodbye.